But yeah, we are here for our first game between these two lovely players. First up, at the top right, we got our red Zerg playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Rogue.
That's right, and his opponent, the blue Terran player in the bottom left corner of the map, going for what appears to be a very quick command center. Give it up for Sidestorm Gaming's GUMIHO.
Alright, so GUMIHO taking a little bit of a risk. Banking on the fact that that Rogue isn't going to go ahead and do some sort of 6 or 7 pull and kind of rush him. And you know, this is actually a map where the natural is pretty easy to wall off. You just need a supply depot and 2 barracks, or a barracks in the factory, and you're good to go.
You know, it's always interesting seeing these, what appear to be like very drastic variations in Terran versus Zerg openings. And yet, like you said, the end result is the same, right? Like you end up in a pretty good spot for macro play.
Mm-hmm. Alright, looks like a factory will be thrown down. I'm kind of interested to see what build is going to come out for GUMIHO, because, you know, before he was playing against a Protoss, so mech wasn't quite viable, but in a TVZ, that's a different story.
Oh, definitely. I wonder if Rogue is more or less comfortable against mech. I feel like in general, a lot of pro Zergs are more comfortable against mech because it's pretty straightforward, right? You just, you know, there are pretty set compositions and techniques that you use against your opponent. Whereas in bio, the skill ceiling, you know, it's virtually infinite. But yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and say that GUMIHO is going for mech. We do see that 3rd and 4th refineries going down at the natural base.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's a great indicator that there might be mech coming out here for GUMIHO. And oh, actually, as we say that, it's not going to be the typical kind of mech play, but the air mech play.
Sky Terran, this is interesting. So are we going to see double Banshee, or are we going to see...
Oh, we're going
to see double BC. There we go. Yeah.
I love this, because...
This is amazing, yeah.
Yeah. Like, for the longest time in TVZ, we saw like a bunch of BC openings, but then all of a sudden it's kind of died down because the Zergs kind of figure out how to defend against it.
Right.
But always great to see a Terran player bring it back into the fold.
Yeah, now is Rogue going to be able to scout it? It looks like his Overlord doesn't have speed. It is going to see... Yeah, wow. Rogue actually gets a full scout off. He sees both starports with the tech labs as well as the fusion core, so he knows what is going to be coming to his doorstep in just a few moments.
Yeah, that was $1 million scout right there. I mean, the first step to defending against BCs is actually scouting that BCs are on the way, and as you can see, more queens are being made. We should expect to see maybe a spore crawler or 2 being thrown down as well very soon. But actually, Rogue gonna go ahead and just go across the map and hit, as he knows that there is not a lot of ground forces, as a lot of those resources has been invested into those BCs.
Yeah, I do like this move a lot, right? I didn't mention the Roach Warren earlier because I figured, okay, maybe it's a safety Roach Warren, but Rogue took advantage of that, and wow, we're even seeing a Ravager, 2 Ravagers being formed at the front doorstep. I like this move a lot, right? You produced some roaches, you might as well make use of them. And yeah, it's going to buy more time for Rogue to set up spore crawlers at home, get some more queens at home, that kind of thing, and potentially deal a lot of damage at the natural. Now, it looks like the first 2 VCs are out. They are going to shoo back. They're going to push back the roaches. and the Ravagers for the time being. But yeah, I like that. That was pretty cute.
Yeah, I really love that response by GUMIHO, because he knew that the roaches were coming and he knew he had nothing to defend. So what he did there was he actually built like a second layer or a second wall behind the first wall.
Right.
And he knew that it wasn't going to hold up, but it's just to buy him time for those BCs to come out. And yeah, he managed to be able to retreat his SCV, so no SCVs were killed. And yeah, BCs were out and about in time, and now GUMIHO can carry on.
Now, it's interesting that the first two BCs are, still scouting just outside of the main. Well, as I say that, they TP into the back of the of Rogue's main, but look at that. How many queens is that? That's like 7, 8 queens already available on the high ground. Plus a score. Nice Yamato's gonna, get whatever value they can. But the the teleport has already been burnt, so I think that these BCs have already outlived their usefulness for the time being. Now, a third BC is at the natural. 2 Spore Crawlers are in place, but this is where it gets a little bit tricky, right? Constant repositioning with the Spore Crawlers, constant repositioning with the Queens as well. And so far, GUMIHO is getting, some decent damage done with these 3 BCs. But look at that. We see 10 Corruptors on the way. Once those Corruptors are out, oh, well, okay, we see a 4th BC. This is... I've never seen this.
Well, he's got to be careful. He needs to fight away from the queens because Corruptors are about to pop out. He may want to throw down like a meal just to repair those BCs, because I don't think his cooldown has quite... oh, actually, I think one of the BCs did, or second BC got the cooldown down. So, okay, so yeah, these species should be able, at least the majority should be able to teleport back to safety.
That's right. Now these Corruptors are going to do their best to... Ooh, they get 1 kill on 1 BC. 1 Yamato has gone off. 2 BCs have gone down. The last BC does decide to just TP out of there. Oh, wow, look at that. 3 out of 4 BCs actually were killed. That is not what you want as a mech player. Oh, yeah. And it looks like the Roaches and Ravagers were also ensuring that the 3rd command center could not mine for quite a little while. It's already past the 8-minute mark, so this is pretty good for Rogue, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm sure he probably wants to be a little bit ahead on the worker count, but I mean, he's taking care of the most important thing is the BCs, not allowing the BC count to go to a point where even the Corruptors become useless against them. And
right.
Oh my god.
Okay, looks like the command center will live for the time being, but look at that. Another full scout. The Corruptors saw the stem being researched as well as the additional barracks. This is an amazing game to watch. GUMIHO is transitioning out of double starport BC into full bio. I love this.
Yeah, he really recognizes the fact that these BCs are pretty much useless going on forward because these Corruptors just too much of them. And so yeah, he needs to find a different avenue, and yeah, he's gonna go ahead and try to go for some tank and marine kind of play, which is the standard play, of course. But Rogue, he's gonna have a bunch of Roaches and Ravagers, adding on the Bane's Nest as well to add in that splash damage on top of those Marines. And those Corruptors can just fly around and maybe vomit on buildings and stuff like that. And Rogue, yeah, he's almost maxed out.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Now, of course, Roach Ravager is pretty heavily inflated, but considering the supply of GUMIHO is not even 130, this is still a pretty big difference. Like I mentioned earlier, against mech, it's pretty set in stone what kinds of units you want against which mech units, right? You've got BCs, they need to be countered by Corruptors. In general, ground mech can be responded to with Roach Ravager, that kind of thing. Now, funnily enough, we see a bunch of slow Zerglings. I think that they were just made as a mineral dump, because other than that, they're pretty useless, I would say.
Yeah, well, I guess you can use the Zerglings to tank some of the initial tank shots. and then have the roaches and ravagers come up and bow them down. So yeah,
Right.
Oh,
right.
he's actually he's gonna make some banelings as well. So yeah, this is gonna be a full-fledged attack. He is gonna should wait for a bailing. Wait, does he have a bailing speed? Oh, he does not.
Oh, good question. Yeah, it's not being researched, so that is a bit of a mistake. Yeah, honestly, the longer that Rogue waits, the more precarious his situation becomes, right? Because he has basically zero room to power up this army further, other than upgrades, whereas his opponent can keep making units for another 50 supply.
Yeah. You know, the more time Rogue gives GUMIHO, the more time that GUMIHO can kind of mass up to that 200 army. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this is a missed opportunity, I would say, from Rogue, where he could have attacked and outright killed GUMIHO right now and shut down that 4th base. And if you shut down the 4th base from a meching, or not meching, meching Terran, it's like pretty much disastrous. Luckily enough that GUMIHO isn't going for a full-on mech, so you know he should be okay. But yeah, we'll see how this engagement happens. Okay, now he's getting the banelings speed there.
Now, props to GUMIHO for being able to keep up with the upgrades. His +2/+2 infantry is about to finish, whereas it looks like Rogue is also going to finish +2/+2 for ranged attack, just going to be a little bit later. So I think Rogue, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Snoopy. I think that was definitely a missed opportunity earlier when he was up by like something like 70 supply. But yeah, now I mean, he will continue to play the defending role, essentially, up until a point. But yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Rogue still has a decent chance because he's getting all these upgrades finished. Like you look at the production tab, a bunch of upgrades are gonna be finishing very soon.
Right.
And
plus
Rogue,
that tech. Ooh. Here we go. Banelings are rolling in. Oh, but they are just. It's like giving GUMIHO free. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm high-key very traumatized by what I just saw, because those tanks just murdered a field full of banelings for free. And I don't know, maybe Rogue is actually just trying to trade them out, but I highly doubt that. It's funny because his Ravager Baneling army was essentially traded out for a bunch of Zerglings, which I do like. We also see the Greater Spire, so Rogue is pulling a classic sort of all tech trees are mine sort of Zerg mentality.
yeah. Well, he does have the Corruptor, so I think maybe the Hive and the Greater Spire, can kind of transition him into Broodlords, and so the Lings kind of are the leftover mineral units.
Right.
Because right now there's not a lot to defend against a Broodlord force for GUMIHO. He doesn't have like Viking production out or anything like that. He does have Marines, but behind Banelings, the Broodlords are going to be safe. But anyhow, it looks like Rogue is going to go ahead and try to engage before the Broodlords are coming out here. I'm not quite sure.
That was very well held by GUMIHO. We saw that he did take a lot of losses, but of course he made sure that his opponent took way more losses. 122 Zerglings on the production tab, as well as 3 Ultras. I like Ultras, right? The higher the tech, the better. But this is just, a lot of Zergs, including myself, fall into this trap of like, okay, I'm maxed out, but I don't feel like I can do anything. But, I guess it comes down to the remax. But, yeah. A very sort of asymmetrical victory.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird game. But it looks like Rogue is finally, will take the victory here as Rogue goes up 1-0 in this best. Oh, actually had a best of 1 on the interface. Sorry about that. But it's a best of 3 series, and Rogue will go up 1-0. And we are here for game number 2 on Hardwire. I'd like to apologize once again for putting best of 1 on that previous first game. This is indeed a best of 3, so here we go. Rogue is up 1-0, and mentioning Rogue, he is our red Zerg player here on the top right. Give it up from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Rogue.
And his opponent playing as the Blue Terran, opening up with a very, very nice double BC opener in the last game. Too bad it didn't pan out. Give it up for Storm Gaming's GUMIHO.
Well, a double BC opener might have not worked, but will a double Barracks cheese play work out here for GUMIHO? Because Rogue right now, he has no overlords flying over that area anytime soon.
Yeah, if this goes unscouted, obviously that is where a cheese is most lethal, when the opponent has no idea that it's coming. Now, of course, a double proxy barracks is not as invested as a triple proxy barracks, but it could still do some pretty decent damage.
Yeah, and Rogue actually went for the latest possible spawning pool, because he made the hatchery and then gas and then pool as the last building. So GUMIHO, I think he could not have asked for a better opening, and we'll see if he can kind of pull it off here in Hardwire.
Yeah, does Rogue consider this bunker a fake? He did pull one drone, but no, now he knows the second SCV is here. The first bunker is almost about to finish. The first Marine is on site. Looks like Rogue is going to opt for the Spine Crawler, as well as the gasless approach to the Lings, which is pretty appropriate given the situation that he is in. But here we go. The Lings are going to push on forward, try to get us around on the Marines. Not good enough. A Reaper follow-up, actually. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, what better to handle slow Lings than a Reaper, right?
I know, right? Now, I haven't seen Reapers follow up, like, usually just mass Marines, but I like this, actually.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Now, the frontmost bunker is already established. 2 Marines are in it, shelling away at that Spine Crawler. We do see the SCVs doing a bit of repair micro just to keep it alive for a little longer. I like that. It's very cute. But yeah, like, look at that. The Lings have to be kept back. Are they? Oh, they actually caught one Reaper. The first Reaper glitched just a little bit, so now it's down to one single Reaper. We do see a factory already almost done on the way for GUMIHO back at home. But yeah, this is already doing pretty good for GUMIHO. Rogue's natural base is just about to fall. A lot of Lings are going to push on forward. Are they going to be enough to get this around?
Oh man, 3 bunkers. One of them actually was empty, but it looks like Rogue is just gonna actually break down this bunker wall, and he will survive. What a hold, especially considering he did not scout this at all, and he went for probably the greediest opening in the. I mean, well, it could have been more greedy, but in terms of the pool's timing, wasn't ideal. And here we go, Rogue gonna go ahead and go for the counterattack, but full wall here for GUMIHO.
Yeah, I don't think these Lings are gonna break through anytime soon, but I gotta say, I love that move where GUMIHO pulled the Reaper, the 2 Reapers to the front. That was a pretty good move.
Yeah. Now imagine if he didn't lose the other Reaper, he could have done the second grenade and made it more worthwhile, but.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially this early into the game. I don't know, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I truly feel like a second Reaper grenade could have changed the tide of that breakout. Because, you know, it gives the Marines just that little bit more time to keep shelling away at the Zerglings. That way they don't actually get a full surround, they don't do enough damage, etc., etc. But, you know, Rogue, good for him for breaking out. It looks like he will follow up with a Roach Warren. Whether that is for safety or for attack, I don't know, but yeah. Looks like there's going to be a 6 Hellion follow-up. So those could be safety roaches, but I'd say that Rogue is pretty safe right now, given the amount of lings that he has.
Yeah, I mean, it could be either way. It could be for safety, because he did got the Hellion openings, but yeah, it could very well be an offensive roach push and just go across the map. Now, seeing that there isn't a lot of overlords, I think this is going to be just a small little pressure of 8 roaches, and maybe turn like 4 of them into Ravagers or something, and then just like just kind of drone up behind this. Yeah, man, that hatchery is so low in life. Almost had it.
Yeah. It's a few more seconds. Okay, it looks like these Hellions are going to catch the roaches out in the middle of the map. Going to turn back immediately. And I like this move by Rogue a lot. I feel like seeing just even a small force of roaches that early on, it tends to throw Terrans off pretty substantially, as is the case here as well as last game, actually. So, yeah, these few roaches are actually pretty scary.
Yeah, at the very least, it does force a bunker coming out, but unbeknownst to him, this is not an all-in or of any sort. It's just a semi-pressure play here for Rogue, and it's going to pay off in the end, because not only is he going to force a bunker, but he's going to cancel the upgrade on the engineering bay.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Rogue. I mean, of course, we do see GUMIHO finally able to break out. You know, there's the risk that he's going to get surrounded by lings, but he's got the Hellions for that. Marines have enough DPS to sort of push back the roaches. Like you said, yeah, it costs GUMIHO time, effort, and the upgrades. So it will give the advantage to Rogue, but yeah, this is definitely not going to be an easy game for GUMIHO to just sort of come back from.
Yeah, he's behind 20 workers, and I don't think he has a... Wait, does he even have a third base? No third base. Wow, okay. And Rogue's already taking his 4th.
Yeah.
Alright, so if there is any hope for GUMIHO to win this game, it's going to have to be this attack. It's going to have to hit hard and have to do significant amount of damage in order for him to have any chance in this game going forward. Stim is finished, so he is going to go ahead and stim on top of these Ravagers. Nice start, actually.
Yeah, I like that move a lot, actually, making the Hellions sort of bait out the Ravagers. But look at that, the Lings and the Ravagers are going to get on top of the tanks, and that push, it started really, really strong, and then it just fell flat on its face.
Yeah, there's just too much roaches on the ground, and of course there is the defender's advantage where the rally points is much closer to Rogue, and so now Rogue, he is pretty much in the driver's seat. He can pretty much do anything he wants to do. I would like to see him kind of diversify his tech tree, because right now he's only stuck on Roach and Ravagers, and while I do like Roach and Ravagers, at some points, as the game goes longer and longer, it does kind of get weaker and weaker. So maybe adding some Hydralisk, or maybe to even go for like a Mutalisk switch or something.
Oh, yeah. When you said a Hydra mix, I started thinking of Serral, but then when you said Muta switch, I was like, yeah, that's definitely a Serral thing. But yeah, I feel like maybe it's more of a dark type of thing to go Hydra, Roach, and then, you know, you have a Roach Ravager army, but then instead of mixing in just Hydras, you try to mix in the Lurkers. You go straight up to Lurkers, because the Hydra Den is mostly for your Hive Tech. Oh, look at that. The Ravager Biles just barely don't connect with the Medivacs, but that was some pretty good targeting.
Yeah, good attempt. Looks like GUMIHO trying to do some harassments across the map, because he knows he needs to buy time right now. He wants to bring the fight on Rogue's side of the map instead of his side of the map. Unfortunately, Rogue does split off some units, some roaches here at the third base of GUMIHO. Will go ahead and dwindle these Marine counts. and get on top of these SCV lines, and will delay this mining off of the third base, and yeah, things look worse and worse for our blue Terran.
Granted, his drop did get a little bit of damage done, but he is going to tap out, and Rogue takes this game.
And the series too, 2-0.
That's right.